Big Sur, Calif. A massive landslide that went into the Pacific Ocean is the latest natural disaster to hit a California community that relies heavily on an iconic coastal highway and tourism to survive, and it adds to a record $1 billion in highway damage from one of the STATE and APO's wettest winters in decades. The weekend slide in Big Sur buried a portion of Highway 1 under a 40-foot layer of rock and dirt and changed the coastline below to include what now looks like a rounded skirt hem, Susana Cruz, a spokeswoman with the California Department of Transportation, said Tuesday. More than 1 million tons of rock and dirt tumbled down a saturated slope in an area called Mud Creek. The slide is covering up about a 1/4 of a mile stretch of Highway 1, and authorities have no estimate on when it might reopen. The area remains unstable. And we have and APO's been able to go up there and assess. It and APO's still moving and Cruz said. And we have geologists and engineers who are going to check it out this week to see how do we pick up the pieces. And it and APO's the largest mudslide she knows of in the STATE and APO's history, she said. And it and APO's one of a kind and Cruz said. The Monterey County SHERIFF and APO's office posted a video on Facebook of the slide along Mud Creek, located about 8 miles north of the Monterey-San Luis Obispo County line. One of CALIFORNIA and APO's rainiest and snowiest winters on record, has broken a 5-year drought, but also caused flooding and landslides in much of the state and sped up coastal erosion. And this type of thing may become more frequent, but Big Sur has its own unique geology and said Dan Carl, a district director for the California Coastal Commission whose area includes Big Sur. And a lot of Big Sur is moving. You just don and APO's see it. And even before the weekend slide, storms have caused just over $1 billion in highway damage to 424 sites over the fiscal year that ends in June, Mark Dinger, also a spokesman for the state transportation agency, said Tuesday. That compares with $660 million last year, he said. Big Sur along narrow windy Highway 1 between San Francisco and Los Angeles has experienced an especially tough winter, state transportation spokesman Colin Jones said. Repeated landslides and floods have taken out bridges and highways, closed campgrounds, and forced some resorts to shut down temporarily or use helicopters to fly in guests and supplies. In February, a massive landslide on Highway 17 in Santa Cruz in Northern California led to dangerous conditions and the highway to be partially closed. Big Sur is one of the STATE and APO's biggest tourist draws in a normal year, attracting visitors to serene groves of redwoods, beaches and DHIGHWAY and APO's dramatic oceanside scenery. The state already had closed the Highway 1 along Mud Creek to repair buckled pavement and remove debris after an earlier slide triggered by one of CALIFORNIA and APO's rainiest winters in decades. Authorities removed work crews from the area last week after realizing that saturated soil in that area was increasingly unstable, Jones said. Last year, a wildfire burned for nearly 3 months in the Los Padres National Forest and on private land, sparked by an illegal campfire. Thousands of visitors were shut out from signature state parks and the businesses that cater to those tourists. Kirk Gaffil, president of the Big Sur Chamber of Commerce and owner of the historic Nepenthe restaurant, said the slide may prove a blessing, stabilizing land that Caltrans was working to shore up. On the other hand, he acknowledges his theory may be wishful thinking. And THERE and APO's no question. If you live and own a business in Big Sur, you live in a very dramatic landscape, and we know historically, whether it and APO's fire or a mudslide or a landslide from one year to the next, it and APO's not very predictable and said Gaffil, whose restaurant is serving 2 to 3 dozen local diners a day, rather than the 600 to 1,000 typical for this time of year. Gaffil said repairing this landslide is not as critical for business as replacing Pfeiffer Canyon Bridge, a famous span on Highway 1 that had to be demolished earlier this year after it was badly damaged by slides from heavy rain in January and February. The new span is scheduled to open in September. Kurt Mayer, who owns Big Sur Tap House, was also taking news of the slide in stride. He said Tuesday he WOULDN and APO's trade in his work location for somewhere safer. And WE and APO's all going to make it, I and APO's am pretty sure and he said. And quote Big Sur can scare some people, and those people usually come and go pretty quickly. And those who can hang, THEY and APOS re still there, and THEY and APOS LL continued to be there. And quote.